Good evening and welcome to Know Your Purpose. We are live. We are back in the building here. We've been out of the building for quite a while, but we are back celebrating the new year. We're going to be bringing some new people, some new driven entrepreneurs. By the way, my name is Dr. Stacy Venable. I am the owner of the Business Suites of Brass Mills campus. Yes, we did say campus. We are now the campus of the Business Suites of Brass Mill. We are now located in Delaware. We are now getting ready to officially walk into a new location as well. So we are growing. We are growing leaps and bounds. I'm trying to tell you, it's been a great time. I mean,
I'm impressed.
Thank you.
I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
I'm like kind of blown away. So
entrepreneurship ain't for everybody, but let me tell you, we stuck in there. We hung in there through COVID. My staff, we never shut our doors.
Okay.
Everybody's starting to come out more. People start looking for more business, more suites, and we're loving it here. But tonight, we're back to Know Your Purpose. And like I said, I am so happy to be here. My journey has taken me on to teaching, to doctoring, to businesswoman of the year, and like a host of other things that I could talk about. One of the great things I want to talk about tonight is my new launching of my new children's books. If you haven't gotten yours, we have plenty copies right here at the Business Suites of Brass Mill. The second one will come out before Valentine's Day for your little ones.
Man.
Oh man, and these stories are true stories written right here about Harford County. And these stories are about siblings, about cousins, about love, about lessons that we learned right here in Beacon Terrace, right on Trimble Road.
Dang, okay.
Right.
The spots.
The spots, the true stories, right here. So
Okay.
those are some of the wonderful things that we're doing here at the Business Suites of Brass Mill. But my guest is here tonight. But before he gets started, this is something that we have to do.
Okay.
We have to throw out this disclaimer.
All right.
These are our views.
Okay.
These are our opinions.
Yes, ma'am.
And if you do not agree with our views or our opinions, we don't want you to go to Facebook and yell at us. We don't want you to go to Instagram and yell at us. And we don't want you to go to all those other social media things. Just tune off. Just turn off. Go do something else. Go hang out with your friends or do whatever you want to do. But tonight, we're going to bring inspiring information for some of you entrepreneurs out here that are doing great things. And this young man has been inspiring me. I've been following him. He didn't even know I was following him. I've been following him. I've been watching him. I've been watching him grow. I knew him I just told him, I knew him as a younger person. He's a grown man now and doing grown things. And I'm loving it.
Thank you, man.
I'm loving it.
I might owe you $1.
Oh man, I love it.
Appreciate
I do.
Thank you.
And I love when I'm able to talk to younger people and get them to understand that you guys are our future. And we need to instill great things into you guys. And when you guys project like you're projecting right now, it makes us feel good.
Okay.
I talk a lot about my legacy.
All right.
Because everything that I do, everything I've done in the last 8 years has been just strictly about me leaving a legacy for my children and my grandchildren. Because after a while, I gotta turn these things over.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not going. Look, I don't even listen. I got 5 years left before retirement, and I'm
Okay.
trying to make sure that my children know how to do this because we don't pass down things like our ancestors and stuff used to do. So this is why I work so hard.
Talk about it.
Legacy, the little people that you got at home, legacy.
Yes, ma'am.
And you do a great job. You're a wonderful father.
Thank
I
you.
watch you on every aspect. So tonight we have Kevin Ewing Jr., our Harford County. What I'm gonna say, I'm gonna take go on a list. What about Harford County's finest photographers?
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I love it.
Thank you.
So we have introduced him tonight, and we just want to know a little bit about you. I've told him a little bit, but let's start with a little bit about you.
So I am husband of one, father of three.
I like the husband of one. I love it.
Husband of one, father
Love
of three. Oldest sibling of 5. I would have to shout out my siblings, Devin, Heaven, Trevin, and Mayavan. They are part of the plan as well, as well as my children. But I had to shout them out. They definitely they made sure they made sure
that support system is everything in entrepreneurship.
And we push each other. We call ourselves a family 5, and we
love it. I was a family of 7.
Yeah, and it's we all going through our different stuff, and it's a wide age gap, just like your family,
just like ours, yeah.
So yeah, it's I don't even know where you want me to start. I mean, it's I'm on a crazy journey. It started as trying to make other people look good. Now it's just trying to help them get to their next level. I mean, of course, I'm trying to get there as well. But
oh yeah. Let me tell you something about this journey thing. If you don't have your purpose and you're not purpose driven,
yes,
the journey is going to be 10 times harder. I'm not saying that you can't make it there. I'm not saying you, but it's just going to take a longer time to get there.
Right.
And you don't listen. One thing about rebuilding, it costs too much because time is everything.
Right.
Time is everything. So you are driven already with a purpose. I read in your bio that you picked this thing up in 2015.
Yes, ma'am.
What did you do in 2015?
Okay, so I've always had a love for music. I've always had a love for music. I was trying to figure out, like, man, like, what's my passion? Like, what is this? What is going on? And I can remember, my parents, both my mom and my dad, they would be like, man, you used to know this song. You used to do all these dances and things like that. And even in high school, like, I would, like, in like English class or even a music class, we would have to write and like do this poetry stuff, and I would be good at it. I would be like, how are y'all having trouble like rhyming? How are y'all having trouble like kind of putting stuff together? So like when my son was born in 2007, I would just write different things like about my relationships, about him, about the future and everything. And my brother Devin, he produces, and then I had a hip hop dance choreographer.
Wow.
Platinum J.
Okay.
If you guys know
hip hop. Okay.
I had artists, my one of my best friends, James, and I was just like, man, if we can just get a foot in the door, like between like the music, between the art, dance, like I'm gonna grab a camera and document it. I got this camera, and I realized it wasn't just hit record. It's lighting, it's settings,
it's a lot to it.
Audio.
We were working with that tonight.
And I had to find a mentor. So one of the only people that I knew that carried a camera, carried a MacBook, was my good friend Mike Smith. And I was like, look, I got this camera. I don't know what to do with you. The only person I've seen with it. He's like, look, you can come. You can join me at weddings, shoots. You can even come to my house. I spent like days in his bedroom. Wow. He's showing me, hey, this does this. This does this. He gets me to this event. It's a birthday party. So he says, hey, look, it's a birthday party. I'm going to be up here taking pictures. I'm going to send people downstairs to you. You just hold the camera. They're going to say their well wishes. Happy birthday. I love you. Maybe give a fond memory, something like that. So I do this for like 3 hours. End of the night, he gives me $120.
Uh-oh. Revenue. Like, just for holding the camera.
I'm like,
just for holding the camera.
Okay. That's $40 an hour.
There you go.
If he gave me that, would he get paid? And then, long story short, or long story less longer.
That's okay. That's okay.
He's like, dude, there's money in this photography. If you you can do video, and I can continue to show you, but it's some money in this photography. And I'm like, man, I got bills. I hate these warehouse jobs. When I was 28, I thought my life was over for real, because I just didn't know what I was going to do. I'm working for people that are not as smart as me. I'm working for people that
let's talk about that.
I'm working for people that are not as talented as me. I'm talking like I gotta ask to go to the bathroom. Like I gotta ask to check on my kids. Like it was, and it's like no knock to a lot of people in that position. I'm trying to be an inspiration to people that want to get out of those positions. But it just wasn't for me.
Let's stop there for a second. Okay. Because I want to talk about that, because we have a lot of younger people watching and we have a lot of older people watching. One thing that I'm seeing in the younger generation, you guys are taking strides, leaps and bounds. Okay. And then you have some of the older people that are still stuck in their ways. The thing that got me was when you said, you had to ask for this and ask for that. I got so stagnated in the fact of the matter of working for someone else. I still till today work for someone else, but I know at any time I'm building up enough with with my other businesses to where I can retire and work for myself. Yeah. But one thing about it is I always felt like I was on a different level
Right.
Then
Right.
I was on a
Right.
different
I like that.
And I'm sure my boss of a long time is watching. And one thing he did is he kept inspiring me to do better.
Right.
He kept telling me, you if you're somewhere for 5 years, you've been there too long.
We need that in bosses, though.
You've been there too long.
A lot of bosses.
I know some people that have been on their job, and no disrespect, audience, please do not take it this way. I know some people that have been on their job for over 20, 30 years, and they're still doing the same job, sitting at the same desk in the same position. I have a whole problem with that, because where is your growth? Mm-hmm. Where even if you have to change to another job, this to try a new experience. Right. When I started the business suites at Brass Mill, I went out on a whim. It wasn't a whim, it was straight faith. It was straight faith. So when you tell me that I was sick of working these warehouse jobs. Mm-hmm. I really saw where money could be made, and you went after that. I want to commend you for that. Thank you. Because a lot of people out here can make this money. A lot of people out, but the stagnancy of not wanting to, or just feeling like they're not good enough. Right. Have you ever felt like that, where you just weren't good enough to do this? But I see you've overcome that.
I was gonna say last week. I mean, every day, like I read. I wouldn't say every day, probably like 5 days a week. I read.
Yeah, I read a lot of books too.
And it's really getting me through stuff that I feel like I should have made the progress a long time ago. But it hits you when it hits you.
It does. It does. And you know what? It's something that we can't prepare for, but knowledge is everything. That's something that can't be taken from us. Right. So if there's something that you're interested in, and you try to gain as much knowledge within it, you tend to be better at it. Yeah. Instead of just saying, you know what, I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to just shoot these pictures. No, I'm not just shooting pictures. I'm a professional photographer. Right. I'm giving you my best. I'm not going to just shoot a picture of you. I'm going to give you my right. best. So like when people say, "Oh, you on a photo shoot?" Yes, I'm on a photo shoot, but I'm waiting for you to give me what I'm going to come with, because your energy is where I need. When I step on set, my photographer used to say, and I'm telling you, you better bring that energy. He said, because I ain't going to keep working for it.
Look, people. So sometimes people have an issue with the cost of what a photography session comes with, like what you gonna have to pay.
I don't have a problem with that, because I'm going to pay for your excellence. I'm going to pay for your greatness. I don't have a problem with it.
I'm wearing all the hats. Absolutely, when I'm out
you
shooting.
Do.
I'm hype man. Mm-hmm. I might be makeup artist. I might slide your hair to the side. I might be a stylist. I might be a designer. Mm-hmm. I might be a consultant. I've had brides want to rest their head on my shoulder.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You show up with everything.
Yeah, and I'm not complaining. It's not a complaint. I actually like being in the position. But you're asking a lot of me, mm-hmm. as well as make me look good, please.
Absolutely.
So I'm trying to be everything for a lot of people.
Yeah, because like I said the other day, when you show up halfway, mm-hmm. and you're out here in the world, and you're out here as a business person or entrepreneur or whatever, one thing I tell people all the time is, we have our home lives, we have our personal lives, but when it's about your business, you have to leave all that behind, and you have to show up. And you have to show up at 100%. Man. There's been times where all hell has broke loose at one of my buildings, in my personal life, whatever. But when I'm talking to a client,
compartmentalize.
Exactly.
You gotta leave.
You got to really, really show up. Right. And that's when you have to know your purpose and what you're putting out, the content of what you're putting out.
Yes, ma'am.
And you being behind the camera, you get to see every bit of emotion. Mm-hmm. Might it be from my eyes to my head, to me, not like you said, the bride laying her head on. Hey, this is just, you have to be that comforter. Yeah. Like, you have to be a little bit of everything. So how did you learn how to embrace all that?
So for the longest time, I didn't realize the nerves that people went through standing in front of a professional camera. I'm mm-hmm. like, you take pictures all the time.
It's not like you in the bathroom taking a selfie.
Yeah, just, I'm going to give you some instruction, of mm-hmm. course. But, I feel like I'm friendly. I feel like I'm encouraging. People lack confidence.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
People lack confidence. Very self-conscious.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to like the posing, mm-hmm. I have to pose people to like hide their emotion. Like, mm-hmm. hey, I need you to have some stature. Mm-hmm. I need you to have some posture about yourself.
My photographer, and still till today, one of Kia, I call her my daughter. She works here in Saquon. They get on me all the time because I don't like to look head on.
Okay.
And like today, I'm going to be speaking at a women's conference, and they were looking for headshots, but she wanted me to have one to look directly on.
Right.
And I remember, my photographer used to always say, smile, let's go. Like no wrinkles. Like, I mean, he would literally, I didn't have a problem paying him whatever he asked. Well, I'm gonna tell you, he used to work for it.
Yeah.
He would work for it. If I didn't feel good, you know, it would show through. If my shoes were too tight, it would show through. Right. You have to really work through those things with those individuals.
Right.
When you're doing a photo shoot.
I mean, all these shoots, all these weddings, these maternities, they're mine as well. I need you to look your best. Like, we're working together, because what I'm doing right now is my future on the line.
Absolutely.
Like, every time I step out of the house, like I'll tell other photographers, like, man, every time we step out of the house, we're expected to be on 100. Like, just kind of like you said, like, man, you gotta.
When I step onto the property of Brass Mill, I cannot allow what just beat the hell out of me 20 minutes ago, an hour ago, 6 hours ago. I can't allow that to show forth, because this is my business, and my business is going to supersede everything, because you only, in this entrepreneurship, sometimes you only get one shot. And my mother used to say, first impressions are lasting impressions.
Yeah.
So if you show up half-assed, listen, you're not going to get anything out of that.
Right.
You know, and then again, and people don't realize it only takes one, and they say one bad apple to spoil. That's a true statement.
Yeah, I agree.
So if you go on a photo shoot, you and the dog just had a big fight, and you're like, man, you come in there, you all disheveled. They're gonna look at you like, well, wait a minute, what's going on here?
Right.
So understanding who you are within your purpose and why you're driven, that's something that we have to do every day in entrepreneurship.
Right.
We can't show up. And there's plenty of times I've been real ticked off, or the kids didn't do something right, or something didn't go right, and then I got somebody to come in my office, and I turn a whole different, hey, how you doing? And you like, and my son be like, she just got done yelling at us, and here she is. Now look at over there, look at Jane over there being fake. He always gets on me about that.
Yeah.
But you know, again, when someone is coming to you for business reasons, you have to show up, and you only get that one chance to impress them. So when you're sitting down with them with their consultation and things like that, and you're telling them what you can do, but when you get on that set and you're really shooting them, that's when all of it really, really, really starts.
Yeah. A lot of times they come in good spirits, so it's not like a ton of pulling out of like the happiness, but just me being on the other side of the camera, I'm like, hey, just, you know, it might be cold out here. It's going to show. Like, I just want them to understand whatever they're going through,
right?
It's going to show.
It
like
is.
The camera.
It is.
These cameras we're using now, they don't hide much.
They don't.
So you have to.
And let me tell you something. Even with these like iPhones, like even when I'm taking a selfie, like I could tell like if my eyebrows ain't right, like sometimes I gotta hold the phone over to the other side because I know this side, you know what I mean? So this new camera is so different. It's not like the box cameras, you know, you just take it in and it's still when it's there. I've been seeing them do all kinds of things, like all kinds of editing. One of the things I did look at, and I told you I was going to bring this up, and one of the things that attracted me to not just to you, but one day I was scrolling through Facebook, and I told you I know your father. Yeah. And I said, oh man, I said that little boy grew up. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen him forever. And I think I sent you a Facebook request, and and I think a couple of days later we were friends. And there was this little picture of this little girl, and she was playing in the playground, looked like some leaves or something like that. Yeah. And I read the caption, it was your daughter, but you could see the love in her in the leaves. Like you heard, she's laying there. You could just tell that she was having such a good time. The capturing of it. It just warmed my heart when I started writing my children's books. I'm like, oh my goodness, like the way you captured her was the love that she gave that day. So that meant you showed everything. And so that's when I started just looking at the pictures. And then I started looking at the weddings. Yeah. And I think then the maternity, because I started looking at her first. Then I started seeing weddings. And then I also started seeing where you were going to like basketball games. And I read in your bio that sports capturing of pictures is one of your favorite things to do.
So I'm not sure who knows, but I played basketball my whole life. I played football young. I just couldn't take the heat.
I
couldn't take the heat in August. The coach barking on me. But yeah, I have a love for sports. It's taught me a ton of lessons. I love being around the energy, the camaraderie. That is one thing that I miss. The brotherhood of
absolutely.
Like we might be strangers in November, February. We're a family. You know, we didn't had our battles. We fighting, but we work together for a common goal. And me being able to capture it, me being able to tell the story of a basketball game, of a football game. I've done soccer. I've even done a little swimming. Like it's I can't swim, but I shoot a little. I can't swim. Yeah, I shoot a little swimming. But I enjoy blending two different loves,
absolutely,
two different passions. And it's been, I'm like, man, you gonna pay me to be somewhere I would have paid to be? Cool. So that's kind of like really what it is. Like I'm talented in one. I thought I was talented in the other, and
those two combining, and now it's something great. Matter of fact, I think correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you just shoot the basketball game for? Was it the police against the
yeah.
Okay, so it was the police against the.
It was like some Harford County
alumni or something like that. Those pictures were excellent.
Thank you.
You captured people in different ways. So when I read on that you had done that, how did you get that, or did they just reach out to you? Because that's something amazing.
I got word that the event was going down, and my first thought wasn't to play. My first thought was to shoot it, tell the story. People was like, man, you don't want to play in the game like you used to, don't you still play? Aren't you still active a little bit? And I'm like, look, I might score 30 in the game, but I'm gonna score 50 with the camera.
You did a wonderful job.
So like I rather, do my best with what I'm gonna do. And I just wanted to be able to capture something that was like historic for our area.
Yes, it was. And it was for such a good cause. And I just want to say thank you for taking the time to give back to the community. Period. That was another thing that I said, I've got to have him on my show. He's doing so many great things. But not only just having you here, but just letting other people know that you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Sometimes it makes the world of difference to know that someone else is watching, not just someone of stature, but someone that's really like, hey, you know what, I'm for you.
Right.
Because let me tell you something. I just put up a quote the other day, and I really, really meant it. I try to put up something inspirational every single day. And I do try. I see a lot of people be watching. And there's even through times I don't want to put them up, but I have to understand this. I'm not putting them up for me. I'm putting them up for everyone else. I had to get comfortable with eating alone at my table. Because for all my life, it's been, I have it was 7 of us. And then we have the adults. So it was nothing to have 12, 14 people in my house.
Yeah.
So then I grew up and I got married right away. And then I started having children. So I've never knew what it was like to eat by myself at a table. But I'm not just talking about the familyhood in it. I'm talking about entrepreneurship. Okay. It gets, and everybody's lonely. Always talking about, oh my goodness, oh, you this and you that, but they don't understand that the loneliness that it feels. But I'd rather eat alone instead of eat. Because, even Jesus knew at his Last Supper that someone was going to defy him. But he still did it anyway. I don't want a defying moment right now. So I have learned to get comfortable at my own table eating alone. Yeah. And sometimes in entrepreneurship, you just have to do that. And I know in photography, it can be lonely because it's just you, a camera, and that person.
I didn't realize, like, there's a couple ways I would go at this. So
sure, come with it. That's why I want to hear, because I know where at my table. Thank you so much. I see you're on here. She's on here. Cherie Blevins. She is one of my love. She's one of my big supporters too.
Yeah, I love her.
She is awesome. Yeah. She's an awesome woman. I'm gonna have her. I'm gonna have you on the show too real soon, because you're doing great things too, and I'm watching. I just know that it wasn't a choice that I had that I wanted to make. It was a choice I had to make, because everybody's not going to be able to go where you're going. And once you go there, have you ever had those people, hey man, if you need any help, call me. If you need it, So let me see how you walk through that path.
As far as people like saying that they got me, or as far as being lonely?
Lonely, because I'm telling you, this is a lonely thing. This is a lonely business. Entrepreneurship can be lonely.
No, it's very lonely. And I am super blessed. I actually should have left a disclaimer just like you did at the beginning. If you don't want to hear about my wife, you're going to have to cut the joint off because she's like everything. She was like, I mean, not was, she still is a major support system.
Absolutely.
But she's more at home. She's out in the field doing her things. Mm-hmm. She's not out doing some of the things that I'm doing. So it can be hard to express, not just to her, but to anybody. That's the part that gets lonely. Mm-hmm. It's, I didn't realize the things that I do working on the computer, doing a ton of research, doing all this stuff. It's nerdy. People don't want to be looked at as nerdy.
Yeah, editing is crazy.
Yeah, like I'm staring at a computer for hours at a time. So that part can be lonely. And then just the entrepreneurial part, like a lot of people don't take risks. Like if we circling back to like the job talk, people will get comfortable in their, situation. Mm-hmm. And for me, it's like, man, I don't have a ton of people that I can reach out to, that I can bounce these emotions off of. And I picked up journaling, and we can get into that in a little
bit. Listen, we can stay right there for a second. Okay. It's my show.
Okay.
I learned to journal through trauma.
Okay.
That's when I started learning how to journal. I journal every day. Because, and a lot of times in entrepreneurship, the reason why I journal is because I might want to sound off and say something that could cost me. Mm-hmm. So what I've learned to do is take my trauma and put it to paper. And as I'm doing this, I'm getting ready to publish my book. And a lot of times I just went back through my journal and I'm started to, the story was already written through my journaling. Journaling is such a great way. It's such a great therapy.
It's got me through a ton of stuff.
It's such a great therapy. And let me tell you something. It's good to, I have a therapist. Yeah. I've been seeing him for 8 years. But he's the one who started me on the road of journaling. But it's such a therapy. It's such a releasing therapy. Because sometimes once words come out your mouth, you can't take them things back. But what I can do on paper, I can scratch it off. I can tear it up. I can do, I can start all over again. But it's one of the biggest therapies.
Yeah. So around the time that my oldest son was born, I started like just jotting things. I mean, I was like I said, into the music. But after a while, I just started kind of putting emotions down, experiences, things like that. And then I don't know, I stopped. I stopped, and then I picked it up like 2015, but right around COVID.
Oh yeah, everything changed.
Right around COVID is really when I got into it heavy, where we're not out, we're not talking to people. And I'm like, man, I think some of the stuff I say is funny. I think some of the stuff I say is like thought-provoking. I'm just going to put it down. I'm just going to, and I'll laugh at myself, whatever. And over time, it stopped being funny and it just became everything. It became life. It became, like my children can look through my note. I have probably like 800 notes on my phone. They can look through my notes, see my emotions towards them. My wife, she can find, hopefully she don't look at everything. I'm mad at her. I love her. It's like, but I'm putting everything there where one, I can go back and see where I was.
You listen, walking
my
back,
progress,
your growth. Yeah. I can tell you when I first started journaling up until now, like I look back over it and I'm saying that was crazy. Like I can tell when I was in a really, really, really tough space. And now I can see where I grew out of that tough space. Right. And sometimes I even walk back into those tough spaces. But what I do is I go back in my journal and I see how I made it over that.
Yes, ma'am.
How I came out of that.
Yes, ma'am.
Because sometimes I don't have nothing else better to do. Sometimes I just got to praise my way out of it.
Yeah.
Even in the midst of all of it, you just got to, sometimes I just have to sit back and I'll write in my journal, praise your way out of it. That's it. Yeah. That's it. That's all, period.
Yeah. I've,
period. Nothing else. I got nothing else to say. This is what I have to do.
It's something like, I don't like try to force anything on people.
Absolutely.
But it's really the thing that
it's wonderful. Like I've learned that journaling has kept me grounded. it has kept it has allowed me to find another endearing piece of just me having peace in my life.
I got to a point where I could start to see myself from other people's point of view.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's one of the things that actually helped my relationship with a lot of people that I
Mm-hmm.
care about.
Mm-hmm.
So it was one night I went on a roasting session. So some like basically where I do my journaling, I would be in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Like we got a bathroom in our bedroom. I'll close the door. I might be in there for 2 hours. But it starts with like 5 minutes, 3
Mm-hmm.
minutes.
Sure.
Sit still. Like if you just it's weird explaining it, but it's like you'll sit still and then you'll like get something. And it's like, oh. But in this roasting session, I'm looking at myself, hairline looking crazy, overweight. I don't know how to fix anything. I'm like, man, my in-laws bought me tools. I don't know what to do with them. I'm on the game 3-4 hours, and I'm like, I'm not the man
right
that my kids think I am.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the
that
husband.
Mask
I'm not the husband
mm-hmm.
that my wife is expecting.
That's
and then
talk
like,
about it, sir.
I really,
this is that if you guys have not decided to sit down and talk to a mature man, tonight is the night, because he's letting us know that this roasting session was solely about him.
No, I was destroying myself.
Absolutely.
And I'll probably post it soon now that I'm telling people that I did it. But I even took a picture of myself.
Mm-hmm.
And from like 2020 to 2021, I lost 40 pounds. I actually stopped watching sports. I can remember nights arguing with my wife because LeBron lost.
It was and serious,
like,
huh?
And I'm like, that's embarrassing. Like, and I'm not saying LeBron lost, why are you bothering me? It's like I'm in my feelings.
Mm-hmm.
She got something she's trying to say or whatever. I might take something personal that she's saying.
Right.
And she don't even mean it like that. But I'm like, the Ravens lost. LeBron, like, and I'm like, yo, that's nuts, because it doesn't impact my life at all.
Right.
It really doesn't. Like, and I can remember spending my whole Sunday. Oh, nah, like I'm scheduling stuff around sports. And I'm like,
and it's not even impacting.
And I'm not engaging with my sons.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like, and so my relationship with my daughter got stronger. My middle son, who actually loves sports, and he's like kind of pulled me back into boxing and basketball and stuff like that.
I've been watching.
So like I've had to like go back to that point, because he actually reminds me of being like 9 years old and loving stats, the numbers, history of different things.
Sure.
But me getting out of some things that like really didn't matter helped me grow with my family. Like my wife and I, our relationship is way stronger since I started journaling. The love for my daughter, I feel like, I mean, you said it yourself. Like, yes, you noticed it.
I did. I mean, through a picture of you and then I just through the picture, and I see the love, and I see that she's loved.
Right.
It's a good thing, because in our community we don't see that a lot. We don't see where there's a two parent household, but we still see the love.
We about to show it even more then. We about to show it even more then.
And we do. And you know what? Like I said, the reason why I brought this up, because I want you to know that what you do is effective. And not a lot of us older people are letting our younger people know that picture was able to show me that there's still love out here, and then you are doing the great things.
Thank you.
Now, like I said, when I seen her smile, I said, okay, this little girl is loved.
Okay.
It's not even just about the picture. Yeah. It was about the capturing of the fact of you could whoever was on the other camera, on the other side of the camera, you could tell when she was looking at the camera, like she loved that person.
Yeah. Every birthday for all my children, we do a shoot.
It's wonderful. What a good memory.
Yeah. Every year, we pick a location, and some of it ends up being bribery. Like, hey, we got a half hour, man. I'll take you to Target after. I'll take you to Best Buy or something like that.
Because the more memories you build, the better. So yeah, your aunt's here. She said yes, need
to be displayed
more. Yes, and like and listen, Queen, I'm talking to my audience right now. It's us. It's us. It was me that reached out to this young man and said, "Hey, I want to showcase you. I want you to understand that you're great."
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if it's coming from a mother or a mother figure or just another person that's out here and that is getting it, as building. But yet I literally took my time to say, I want to showcase this young man because I see the goodness in him. I see how he's driven. And let me tell you something. I didn't know anything about your personal. I didn't know any. I knew you were married. I knew you had children. But this is the thing. I knew that you were evolving because of the work you were putting out.
Thank you.
I went all the way back to some of the pictures that you put out when you were back in the day to the pictures that you have now.
It's ugly back then.
No, I'm not going to say it was ugly. I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not going to do that.
There's been a lot of growth going into
that. But
that.
it showed me that you literally have grown into what your purpose is. And that's why this show is called Know Your Purpose. Mm-hmm. Because I didn't grow into this just automatically. It took some time. It took a lot of time. But tell me about what one of your greatest strengths were within learning from the camera to the being a good father, to being a good husband, to now just literally circumventing and manifesting all of it.
That's a tough question.
Yeah,
what was my greatest strength?
What is your greatest strength within it?
Just wanting more, man. Just wanting more. I just feel like my wife deserves so much more than we have. So we keep grinding it out.
Nothing wrong with the grind. It makes you know that you still alive.
I kind of feel like goal setting.
Yes.
We try to do that. I mean, New Year's resolution, stuff like that. But you got to circle back to them. You got to go back to them. So funny, when me and her got together like 12 years ago, I did some goal setting and just kind of checked on them. Like 5 years later, I'm like, I took my kids out of the country. Oh snap! I took my kids to did like
look at the strength.
There were so many different things that I wrote down, and it actually happened. And it was like, man, I put that out there, and just I didn't say, man, every year I got to work towards getting them to Mexico or Canada or Disney or whatever. Like, it was just, hey, we gonna write it down. We have aspirations to do more. I mean,
you've already, and look, the thing about it is you've already talked to us about some of the strengths. All right, hey Megan, how are you? How are you? A husband of the year. Listen, you can't just say of the year.
Husband of the year, daddy of the decade. I'm all that.
Yeah, you just can't say husband of the year because he's talked about the 12 years of endurance that you guys have gone through. So
yeah, I just feel like wanting more and like wanting
you and out here in this world, let me tell you something. I'm a lot older than you.
Okay.
But I ain't want to say it,
You don't look like you got so many years.
I do. Okay. I do, but I'm gonna keep quiet about that, But I can talk to you from an entrepreneurial stance. This ain't for everybody. It's not for everybody. And is let me ask you this: is photography your 100% asset of what you're doing now for life longevity?
No, not at all.
So that's a good thing because this is just a stepping stone into where you need to go.
Yeah.
But I can tell you now, if you're doing it right now as your job,
right,
it's not for everybody. And then being your own boss, people always talk about, oh, I can't wait to work for myself. It's harder working for yourself because you can let yourself down in so many ways to where you can't let that time clock down.
You talking.
I tell everybody, I never, even though I built these hubs and all this stuff, I've never quit my day job.
I like that.
Never quit my day job.
The
reason why I never quit my day job is because people don't understand the overhead cost of what it costs to run a business.
Yeah.
Because you're not supposed to be robbing from yourself. Mm-hmm. There's so many things that people do wrong within business, and it sours them. Mm. But I keep telling people, if you want to do it, always try to do it the right way.
Right. Yeah.
So it don't cost you that much.
So, man, my wife, I would say she was. If I wasn't married, I'd be back in the warehouse.
Oh,
like
that support system. We've been talking about the support system. We need the support system.
She a boss, and I've had to like take some stuff that she said to me and really be like.
Now, did it hurt you? Because I'm not man bashing here. Don't do this to me. But
talk about it.
But the thing that I want to relate to you, because like again, I want to be that. I want to make sure that I am that leadership. I have that leadership mentality with you.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you that in the last 6 years of me, I'm going to use your word, bossing up.
Mm-hmm.
I've had so many men walk away and say, I don't want her telling me what to do.
It's not for everybody. Everybody.
And then I had a friend that matter of fact, he reached out to you. His name is Raheem. He reached out and said, yeah, stick with Doc. You're going to make it.
Yeah.
I remember when he started his businesses.
Okay.
He worked for the FBI and he just retired.
Okay.
He worked in policing and all that stuff for almost 30 years. But through the 30 years, he wanted to build something. Yeah. And now he owns several businesses and he's very good at it. But I remember when he first started, and because he's that, and I don't care, I'm gonna tell it, don't care. Because he has such that man ego.
Yeah.
And that pride thing. He'll tell you, I've lost so much. But when Doc and I got together and we started running these businesses and we started being silent backers for each other, she held me to higher standards than what I wanted to hold for myself.
Right.
And that sounds like what Megan has done for you. But he talks about it through his post, and he's getting ready to write a book about he had to change his mindset. It's something about changing your mindset to not only know that Megan is the support system, but you have to engulf yourself in that.
Yeah.
Because if you're walking around here and you're not listening, and I'm still throwing nuggets your way, and Megan's still throwing nuggets your way, you're losing.
Yeah.
You're losing. Yeah. And that's one thing that I'm trying to show, not only just our African-American community, but men at large. Mm-hmm. They're talking about, you women, y'all wanted to be liberated. It's not the fact that we want to be liberated. We just took a stance.
Yeah.
We just took a stance. I don't find myself being liberated. I just saw my opportunity. I saw my opportunity.
When you can get it on your own, that's just a strength. Like,
let's talk about that.
I had to marry somebody that was strong. Like, she's smarter than me. That's the one thing that makes it easy for me to always hear her side. Mm-hmm. I know she's smarter than me. I know she's reading more than me. I know she's out. She's had more education than I have. Like,
and you embrace that.
Yeah, it's just easy. It makes my life easier when I'm hearing what she has to say. I combine it with what my thoughts are. And you're
winning. You're winning.
We're a team.
I was about to say, anytime that you can take your support system and you can listen to your support system, might it be husband and wife or friend or whatever, and as long as you have that support system and you're taking what that support system says, and you're not just saying, I ain't gotta listen to her. No, you're taking and you're combining the two. Mm-hmm. That means you're winning. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to prophesize over this thing because I did it, and I read over last night. I read over what he sent me, and I kept looking at his pictures. I'm going to prophesize over this, and I'm going to tell you this: this is your season.
Thank you.
This is your season. I've been watching you for 2 years. This is your season because I went back and I'm talking about that growth thing.
Yeah.
From when you used to shoot pictures to now, it is miraculous the things you do behind those cameras.
Thank you.
And the joy you bring, because I was looking at one of your wedding photos the other day, and the husband and wife were looking at each other, and it was just so much joy there. Yeah. And again, you post these things to social media. It does help.
Okay. I don't know the impact.
It does. The impact is amazing.
I'll get likes. I don't get the emotion or the impact
that's why I wanted to bring that's why I wanted to bring you here tonight, because I wanted you to know that someone is watching you. And I don't know who else doesn't want to tell you these things. I'm going to tell you that you inspire me.
Thank you.
because it's so cold out here in this world. We were talking about how we jumping on and off of social media because the things that are on social media, they get into our spirit, they get into our thoughts, they get into, and then you have people posting subliminal stuff, and then you trying to figure out, well, what is that about me or whatever it may be. But we don't have enough adult women and men out here leading and guiding you guys.
Yeah.
Because we behind some of the mess.
So I ain't gonna lie. I got like really discouraged. I used to post a lot of like positive quotes. I used to post, I would come up with stuff and try to inspire people. And it would be like 2 likes, no comments, no shares. I'll see a fight, 72 shares, 1,000, whatever.
Nonsense.
And I just got to a point where I'm like, yo, they don't deserve it. Like I'm coming up with stuff, I'm finding stuff, I'm sharing stuff, and it was like really discouraging. Even like I'll say, even with the photography, like there came a point where I was like, man, there's no point in posting because honestly, I guess I'm posting for the wrong reason. If I want people to give me what I feel like I deserve, but I'm like, I had to trick myself, and I guess it ain't a trick, but I ended up saying everything I post is for my children.
Well, we talked about that legacy piece.
Every single thing that I'm posting, I want them to look and see, and like, man, when he was 35, he was on his grind. When he was 34, he was doing this. When he was 36, he really turned it up. Like, I want them to be able to see, like, man, he.
That's called progress and growth.
Yeah,
that's what you want them to see. Because we have so many, what are you, 38?
I'm 36.
36? Okay, I gave you 38. The maturity level in you is fantastic. It's just wonderful. It's great sitting here talking to a younger, and I have you by several years, but don't you dare go there.
You thought it was some shorter amount of years, but it's
dare go there.
Okay.
It feels great to share this time with you, to talk to a young man that has been through the fire and still walking through it with bare feet, but still trying to make sure that he inspires his family, because everything you do starts at home. Everything that we do starts at home, and then it trickles out into the world. Yeah. And through the lenses, you're able to show people and captivate people. And I'm telling you, keep doing what you're doing. And again, I'm just gonna throw out there. I'm just gonna throw out there to all my audience. I'm gonna apologize for those who didn't pull you to the side even sooner than what I brought you onto this show, because we need to keep pouring into you.
Thank you.
The thing that people don't get right is about that cup. That cup that we have that's full, it's not for us. It's for me to pour out into you. And tonight, that's what I'm hoping that I'm doing, giving you the inspiration, allowing you to not only to showcase who you are, but from behind the lens. See, people don't know you, oh, he's a good photographer, but you are a man behind that. You are a father behind that. You are a husband, and you're doing great things, because for you to be with a woman for 12 years and you're only a babe at this thing here, you are doing phenomenal things. I listen, I'm 48 and I still ain't got the shit right. Okay, I still ain't got it right. I'm still out here trying to figure it out. Yeah. Okay, but what I want to do is I want you to know that we are watching. Your aunt is on here tonight.
Yeah, she hits me in the DM all the
right
time.
Here,
no,
you know,
she always
right here. I love it.
Know.
She said that you're humble. You're getting ready to show up in big ways. That's what it is. Yeah. We have Sabria. Is that her name, Sabria? I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. She says, I've been watching this transformation since he was born. Always destined for greatness.
Thank you.
How many people? I mean, you're seeing it right here tonight. But don't stop doing what you're doing because you got 2 likes.
Yeah. Well,
don't stop doing what you're doing because you only got this or that, because you're making a huge difference.
Yeah. And honestly, how I came up with that is I had put a post up, and someone, and I don't remember. It's not even about the person. It was just like, man, I could really comment back.
Right.
I don't like what they said.
Oh, I could come back. Oh, listen, I could stomp a little hard too, but I don't do that.
I went to the journal. I went to my notes.
There you
and
go.
It was just like,
there you go.
Everybody's not gonna understand. But if my kids know that they can scroll through and never see a fight video, never see celebrity gossip, never come on. I'm only trying to put out positive content. I'm only trying to inspire. I was going to save this for the end, but photography might be what I do, but the inspiration is what I am.
There you go. I love that. If you didn't hear him, I'm going to have him repeat that because I want you guys to write that down because that was a nugget. That was a nugget. Say it to me again.
Photography might be what I do, but the inspiration is what I am.
The inspiration is what you are.
Yeah,
So you inspire all day long.
Thank you.
From the time you wake up and God gives you that breath to put your feet on the floor and thank Him.
That's my lovely Aunt Sabrina.
Oh, Aunt Sabrina, how are you? Okay, I did. Okay, yeah. Aunt Sabrina, yes.
Yeah.
Aunt Sabrina, he. I've been watching him. I know his dad. I grew up with his dad. But just watching him inspired me so much that the name of this show is Know Your Purpose. And this young man knows his purpose and you're standing grounded in it.
Thank you.
Many things for you to be a young Black male. So many things could have came and disrupted your life. You see it. We see it out in the streets all day long. There's so many other ways you could have went.
Yeah. My parents have a lot to do with that. It's funny. I've spent like nights as an adult, like mad at how they parented, mad at different things that we've gone through. And it's really gotten me here. And I had to, I called my mom a couple months ago and was just like, we clashed on religion stuff. We clashed on where I might have went to school, but it really got me here. Like I'm a certain way because of how my mom stayed grinding, how my dad, he might not have laid the laws, but he enforced it.
That's right.
And so I give them a lot of credit into why, I don't know, I would be deemed a success. And
you are. It's not why you are. You are definitely destined for great things.
Thank you.
This is just the beginning. And as we speak on this parenting, I want to tell you that again, me being a little older than you, you guys didn't come with any instruction books, and I want to tell you that sometimes as parents we do the best that we can.
Oh yeah.
But the greatest thing in all of it is, and I got to see this with my older son. You get a chance to do what we did. You get a chance. So all the things that we did not do well, I want you to do great with your kids. You get to change the narrative on everything that your mother said you weren't going to be or weren't going to be, or your father did and did not do. You get the opportunity to do that with your children.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've already set the bar higher than what you got.
I was gonna say they don't like how high the bar is sometimes, but me and my wife, we expect them to hit all the potential that they have. We see so much in them. I'm
guaranteeing you, they're in 20 years, they're going to say, they're going to sit there and tell the same story. But the thing about it is, the story is not going to be the same because you have to change the whole dynamic of what you were given. And that's why this show means so much to me.
Thank you.
Because I'm able to sit down and I'm able to draw in. So I tell people that this is fresh water from an old well. It's fresh water from an old well, and the things that and in any and I was telling him before we started the show, he and I are going to collaborate with some things. I'm going to take him into a different realm of what business looks like, and it's a blessing to be able to step aside and bring a young man to my side and say, hey, listen, I need you to change some things. This you want to be in $1 million club. I'm going to show you some things. I'm going to teach you.
Through my notes.
I'm going to teach you how to do some things.
You must have found some stuff.
And not a lot of people are going to do that for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
You're just not.
I appreciate it.
One of my things here at the Business Suites of Brass Mill that I had, I'm having trouble with. My 25-year-old is the podcast manager here. Okay. And he started working for me full time a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And when I used to come home, he could never understand, well, why are you always tired? Why are you always this and that? So now he burns the midnight oil with me. So now he respects the grind. Yeah. He respects the grind. And I remember when he came to me for this podcast studio, I think I was telling you, he had a dream. And I said, you know what? well, the dream's going to cost you something because you're going to have to work for it. I'm not just going to give you anything. You're going to work for it. But it just made me be more effective. But one of the things that I told my son told me a couple of weeks ago, I started to give up on business coaching because I felt like, the more I'm pouring out, the more I'm getting stepped on. So my son said, man, it's because you're too nice. Sometimes you just got to put it where it is and leave it where it is. Right. But had I made that decision a few weeks ago, I wouldn't have had you on the show.
Dang, you was going to stop then?
I was going to stop. I was going to stop because I felt underappreciated. Yeah. But when I decided, and it was so funny because when you posted the marital picture, I said, no, this is why I'm driving. This is why I'm out here doing the things that I'm doing. No matter if I make $1 or a dime off of it, you are still a part of my legacy.
Okay. Yeah, I was expecting to meet you then. Yeah.
You were still, and let me tell you why you're still a part of my legacy, because you come from the same stock that I came from. But the only thing different is I can educate you and I can show you more. So yeah, this is destined. It was destined for us to do this because just a few weeks ago I said, I'm going to hang my head up. I'm tired of working with people that don't want to work. You know how it is.
I actually just put a video up last night talking about the roadblocks and the hiccups that happen when you're on your mission. And if you don't remember your mission, you toast.
Listen, your mission and vision statement, you should have that down packed. Like my mission and vision statement go hand in hand. I'm here to bring informative information to the community and stand at large within the community. That is my mission and my vision. Your mission and vision don't have to be a whole paragraph long, but you should be able to stand in it 10 toes down.
Yeah, I've wanted to quit photography. I wanted to quit inspiring people. Like,
oh yeah, I had that moment about 3 weeks ago.
It's just kind of circling back. Like, man, what? Why do I want to quit? Like, I'm looking at all right, if that's why I want to quit, that might be the reason I need to go harder. Mm-hmm. Like I might have to use that because sometimes it's like, man, the kids need so much. The kid, like my wife needs this, my siblings or whatever the case. And I'm like, man, I can give them more if I go harder. I can I
think sometimes we get to the point, Kevin, where we get underappreciated and it starts pulling at our value. Mm-hmm. And one thing about me, I had to stand in what my worth was. Right. Because sometimes worth is more than value. Because sometimes we get so defeated in our spiritual, we don't think that we're being valued. And that's when we start making those, I want to quit. But then I had to stop and say, you know what? I know my worth and I know what my purpose is. Right. And life is about making good choices. And sometimes we just get off balance to where we let the everyday effects of the world creep in. That's a part of this entrepreneurship. Because if you work for a big company, you're a number to them.
Yeah, that's true.
You're a number to them.
That's true.
They're working off your logistics and what you're putting out. Mm-hmm. But when you're an entrepreneur, that's all you.
Yeah.
That's all you. So you are hit. I challenge a lot. I challenge the African American community to become entrepreneurs because they really learn what it's like to stand on your own. And sometimes when you stand on your own, that's when you fall the hardest.
Okay. It's when my phone about to die.
That's okay. That's when you fall the hardest, when you stand on your own.
Yeah, I tried not. I mean, of course, you have to at some point. I was going to say I try not to stand on my own and try to pull from other people. Hey, I need to vent a little bit, and that's where I turn back to the journaling. A big part of it was becoming my best friend. Mm-hmm. My biggest fan. Mm-hmm. Where I'm like, man,
your own cheerleader.
And that's one of the things that I really pour into my kids because it's like, man, at the end of the day, you might be married, you might have siblings, you might have children. Nobody has you like you gonna have you, and if you don't have you gonna lose you.
There's another good nugget, my friend.
I don't even know if I can say that again.
No, I'm not gonna have you say it again because I can sum it up. If you don't have you, you're gonna lose you.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times, even me being older, I lose me sometimes because there's so many things on my plate. But and again, even in my older and still being an entrepreneur, and I'm doing pretty well for myself. Sometimes I forget to friend me.
Yeah.
Sometimes I forget to friend me. And when you forget to friend you, you're now losing something.
No, I'm positive self-talk every day.
And I really
had to monitor how I talk to myself. I talk to myself a lot, but I really had to.
Thank you for that,
be conscious about.
You're reminding me. Because I tell you what, it's only 24 hours in a day, and if you're working 18 of those, and by the time you get home, sometimes I have to sit back and say, what did I pour into myself today? Sometimes it's nothing.
Yeah,
and that's got to change.
Right.
Again, the audience. I'm sitting here talking to a 36.
Yeah, I'm 36.
36-year-old who is reminding me to make sure that I'm my best friend, to reminding me that I need to show up and understand that I need to put positive things in the atmosphere, not only the atmosphere, but into myself.
Yeah.
36 years old.
Is that young? You keep calling me young. I'll be feeling so old.
You're young.
I'll be feeling so old.
Young.
I'll be feeling like I don't have a lot of time.
Let me tell you something. You're young, but you're young in love and ambition.
Okay.
It's a difference. When they say age doesn't matter, it does, because you want to take that time to step to grow.
Yeah, I'll be
you want
like
to take
behind.
No, you're not behind. And you want to take that. I know men that are over the age of 40 that aren't doing what you're doing.
Okay.
And they just won't take a look at what you're doing because they think, listen, I know men that right now haven't even embarked on half of your journey. And you out here doing the damn thing. And you're not only just doing it, but you're doing it in the manner to where your legacy means the world to you, your children, your wife, the good things. Not only that, I see you started just giving back to the community, because a lot of times we forget about to give back to our communities.
No. So I'm going to bring up my wife again. Like when she moved from the corporate world into entrepreneurship, it freed her time to begin to give back. And when she did it, it's like, man, it's not that hard. Like we have, we don't have a ton of time,
right,
but we have some time to help out. And she would do some charity work or whatever. But through the photography, she's like, look, you can really help out with this camera. The schools do so much for us. We should give back to the school. So she reaches out. Our kids are in elementary school, and she's like, hey, you guys do so much for us. We'd like to do a headshot day.
Wow.
We like to go into the school. We'll spend whatever time that it takes. We want to shoot everybody.
That's amazing. I love it.
So each teacher, secretary, principal, you get to select. Do you want an action shot? Like while you're teaching, I'll just kind of play the background. You do your thing. Or would you like to step out of the class, get a couple shots, and you can use them for whatever.
That is wonderful.
So we do that, and like I got the heavy book bag on all day. I'm going class to class. I'm hungry, and she's like, "Nah, we good. We cool. We good. Like we got a couple more left." Someone sees that I did the headshots. Just did like a free day of photography. One, I felt good giving to people that look out for our children. Like that's very important to me. Someone saw it and was like, "Oh, I see you do headshots. My company needs headshots."
I'm telling you, networking is everything.
So I get a random phone call, and I don't even like picking up random phone calls. I want you to hit the site. I want you to email. I want you to do something like contact. Hit KevinEwingPhoto.com.
Yes.
I answered the phone. Hey, I see that your headshots are $75 a piece. We got 71 people. We need.
Look at that. Look what God does.
I said,
when you're giving back and you're doing great things, look what God does.
I said, I'm gonna have to hold 1 second. I gotta carry the one.
You gotta carry the one. Love it. I gotta carry the one.
I said, hold 1 second. Let me carry the one.
I love it.
She's like, yeah, I think it's like somewhere around like 5,000. I said, yeah, all that. So she's like, I'm looking at your site. I see you have a 360 booth. I was like, yeah. She said, ain't that? I think that's like $225 an hour or something like that, right? I'm
we
like,
want that too.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I got
Carry
that
another
too.
one.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, that puts you around like 6,000. I'm like, oh shoot, okay. So I don't even remember the name of the lady at all.
He said the numbers got him already.
I call my wife immediately. I'm like, hey, you know anything about this like November 11th event? And she's like, nah, I'm not sure. And she starts like she has access to everything. So she starts looking through and she's like, only thing I can think of is this one message that we got asking about being in Annapolis or whatever. So she's like, look, they told you it was a 2-day event. Call that lady back and tell her if she give you Friday, you'll do Saturday for free. The Saturday was a 4-hour.
Gotta get back.
The Saturday was a 4-hour like boat party. So we sail out of Annapolis for 4 hours. I got some beautiful shots, like lighthouses, bridges, like just parallel lines, blue skies, water, all kind of stuff like that. And like I got a major payday based off of
just giving back,
helping out in the community. Wow. Got my homie paid. He worked with me that night. So it just kind of showed me like, man, you might be looking at it like I'm doing something for free. Like I
give back a lot. And it's so funny because I'm going to share this story with you, and then we can move. Okay. I literally started writing these children's books, and I told my son, I said, I want to tour. I want to tour all kinds of daycares. So we threw it out there that we could tour these daycares. And what we do is when we tour the daycares, we leave free books for each class. And my son and I were on a tour at a daycare, and we were reading. I was reading to a young man, and he kept coming up to me, trying to sit on my lap and hug me. And we kept trying to figure out why he couldn't sit still. Come to find out, he has autism, and we didn't even know it. You know. And my son, as you see, he is huge. He's about 6+ feet tall, and he says, "Oh, them little people!" Like he can't get with little people yet, right? So I kind of like how to hype him up. So through this, we threw a big party here for our grand opening. We had balloons and music and ice cream and cupcakes. We had ice cream social. I mean, we had kids come out. And as you walk past my office, this little kid came and he was like, hi. And, I'm speaking to all the kids. I never realized who he was. So long story short, his mom comes and she comes over. She thanks me. She goes, I said, hey, how did you hear? She goes, oh, you were at my son's daycare. I'm like, wow, awesome. And she said, he remembers you. Yeah. Cool, great. I'm not thinking anything of it. 3 days later, I get a phone call, and I tried with me and my business. I have to pick up sometimes because I never know who's calling. So I picked up, and it was a lady on the other end, and she said, hey, I got your number from so and so, and I'm like, hi, yeah, how can I help you? She goes, oh, so I am the assistant producer for PBS. And I'm like, what? Oh, nice. And I'm thinking, okay, what's PBS? I'm thinking, so what's PBS? Yeah. And I'm like, wait a minute, I only know public. You only know one PBS, yeah. And she said, okay. And she goes, I wanted to know if we could come and sit down and talk with you. And I'm thinking about what? She goes, we'd like to take your books and go into a series on PBS. And I'm like, wait a minute, I remember watching PBS as Arthur was my thing. I loved Arthur. Okay. Me and TV.
Yeah, so I was on the Reading Rainbow.
All of that. And I'm thinking to myself, you gotta be kidding me, because is this where my books are going to go? She was like, yes, we'd like to sit down with you. Once you're done all 12, we'll take them to series. And I'm like, you got to be. And this was all on the fact of the matter that I wanted to go to these daycares and give back. It's called networking and giving back.
Yeah, you got me sold. So I got to go do something.
Next year, all of my stories will come right onto television. And these are just stories that I have in my mind that I just wrote to. This is true stories that happened in Harford County. So your give back moment, I've had that too. Yeah. But I call them blessings.
Oh, yeah.
I call them blessings. I think the more that you can do for others and the more that you can take out in the community, the more God just is going to keep relishing in you, and he's going to keep doing the great works within you. So by all means, keep doing that.
Yeah, I got to.
Don't ever stop, and don't ever think, oh, I got to give something away for free. Because I just told my son, you have to do something to draw people in, and sometimes you may not draw everybody. Man. You may not draw all good people in, but you need to do something.
My Aunt Sabrina that's watching, me and her had a talk, and I actually wrote it. I wrote about it because I'm like, man, I don't I don't have a lot of these talks with relatives.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, people have trouble receiving because they never open their hands to give.
Oh, come on, Aunt Sabrina.
Aunt Sabrina, she told
Aunt Sabrina, me, you listen, you left a lifelong lesson right there.
She said, if I don't open my hands up and give, there's no room for me to receive.
Absolutely. And absolutely. That's like, a true everything in that.
Yeah. She dropped one on me.
Yeah, and listen, that's something that you're going to pass on. Like Aunt Sabrina's passed it to you. Thank you, Aunt Sabrina, for passing it. You're going to pass that on to your children.
Right.
So we're getting ready to wrap up, but I have one more question for him tonight. Usually I don't go over, but it's just been such a great conversation. I just couldn't let this thing go. In 5 years.
Yeah.
I want you to think about this, because when someone asked me this when I was on their show, I'm not doing what I said. Okay. I went beyond that.
Ooh.
And the reason why I say that is because I go back, and this is like the journaling thing. Okay. I go back and I watch that podcast over and over and over again. And I said what I was going to be doing in 5 years. I have literally surpassed that.
Yeah.
So in 5 years, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Within your entrepreneurship, where do you see yourself?
So I probably will be taking a lot less photos.
Okay.
Maybe. Because I'm sure I'm gonna be busting my camera off for my children or whatever, a lot of family events and all that. But the goal is just to inspire. So I honestly could see myself just moving around the country, speaking on entrepreneurship and mindset.
Love it.
I
literally, I don't know if you guys, like I said, I'm not sure if you follow me, but I do something called a 12 city tour. Okay. And what I do is I go to different colleges and I motivate and I inspire and I empower. I talk about being one of 7 children improv, and didn't have, and I talk about being a welfare recipient the first year of my son's life and not liking how it felt.
Right.
I used to ride the blue bus, not liking the way it felt, but there's victory and triumph.
Yeah.
And I want to show people that I came right from this little hidden jewel called Harford County. And I'm out here in these streets and I'm still making it. I haven't gotten to where I need to be, but I'm on my way.
Yeah.
I'm well on my way.
I'm going to be speaking. I'm on like a personal development journey of my own. Everything that so like my tagline right now is I'm about to say something that we both need to hear.
Oh, love it. I love
because everything that I'm coming up with is typically something that I'm battling, but somebody else is probably dealing with it as well.
I commend you tonight for even taking a stance, because we have so many men that are hurting inside. And instead of them dealing with their trauma, instead of them dealing with and talking about it and journaling, they're just going out here and they're just laying hurt on each person.
It's not encouraged. Expressing your emotion is not encouraged. I've helped a friend recently, and it's meant a lot to me, because I was giving the advice, hoping, not expecting him to take the advice, and he's done it. And I feel like it's helped. I feel like it's started a nice journey.
You're such a just man. I hear the words humble and just. I try to teach my sons to be humble and just, and I feel bad. Okay, we got somebody here. I'm late, but I made it. Kevin, keep working, keep inspiring. This is James checking in. Thank you, James, for checking in, because he is being a great inspiration. But again, one thing that I would love to prophesize over you is to keep going out there and encouraging men to get rid of the trauma, because the trauma will affect everything in their life.
Yeah. It's definitely
everything, every step of the way. They can try to be the greatest person they want to be, but when they take that mask off, the ugliness still comes out. And they're laying that on each person. They're leaving that trauma when they could just stop the train right there and heal.
Yeah.
And you did a great thing expressing that. And one of the things he said tonight is it's not encouraged.
Yeah,
we need to start encouraging that. Women, men, boys, girls. We need to start encouraging each other. And I always taught my sons that a humble man is a just man. And there's nothing wrong with showing emotion. There's nothing wrong with showing feeling. It makes you know that you're still alive and you're still amongst the living.
Yeah, honestly, crying is something that was put into humans. So
he gave us the tear ducts to do it.
Yeah. I don't cry often, but there's times when
it's necessary.
Like life can be overwhelming, man. We could really like do this all night.
We could
really do this all night.
We could. And like I said, I don't like ending conversation on notes that where we felt like we could do this again. So guess what? We're going to invite you back.
Wow.
And this time when he comes back, so we're getting ready to start a different kind of aspect of our show. We're going to be bringing a round table, and we're going to bring a group of women, in all different age brackets, and we're going to bring a group of men in all this because I think it's needed.
No, it's a conversation should be had.
It's not going to be long before we do it. We're looking at March and doing it. We're going to bring you back, and hopefully you'll be a part of the panel.
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll be in our Gen X millennial to where you can teach us some things because we have some us older we have some things that we want to ask you guys. And I know you got some things you guys want to ask us.
Yeah.
So we want to bring Kevin back as a part of the guest of the panel. It's going to be a round robin type thing.
Okay.
And because I think he has a lot more to offer, just not only just entrepreneurship. Tonight I brought him on for photography, but I'm learning that he has so much more potential.
No, I'm way more than just a
cameraman. He's way more than just a cameraman. And tonight I was able to learn that, and it's been amazing to have you. I want to be that beacon of light. I want to be that I am person to you. I want to make sure that I'm encouraging you. I'm encouraging your wife.
I appreciate it.
If there's anything here at the Business Suites of Brass Mill, and we only told him a few things.
Yeah, I don't know what's all going on. It's beautiful over here.
So he's gonna after we get off of here, we're gonna sit down and we're gonna talk, and we're gonna try to figure out how we can help you and you can help us.
Okay.
So one of the things that I brought Kevin on here for tonight, and I figured I'd ask him in front of all of my audience. I am now taking the podium. I am doing my last modeling call. I'm 48 years old. I should have got out of business a long time ago.
Okay.
And my photographer, God bless his heart, he has went on to rest. I lost him last year, and I am now stepping into some magazines, and I'd like for you to come alongside of me and be my photographer. So that way people can catch, he can actually motivate me. This is my last run. Before I turn 50, I have a lot of magazines that have been coming and calling. And so tonight, before he even came in, I talked to him about it. And I hope you accept the call over photographing old Doc right here. Let's see. Stay tuned.
I'm in there.
Stay tuned because we're going to bring you something. We're going to bring you something right.
Yeah,
we got about 3 months before we hit the Essence runway, and we want to make sure
I can join you there.
Absolutely. Well, we want to make sure that I'm captivated. I got some new things coming, and I just want to bring you in as a part of it.
Wow, thank you.
You inspire me.
Thank you.
Your wife, Megan, keep doing great things. You are a support system. You are the beacon. You are the pillow. You are the tears that he lays down in formation every night, and you dry them, and you keep encouraging him because not a lot of women out here are doing their part. And you're doing wonderful. You guys are great parents. Your children are blossoming. They're growing in love. And I want everybody out there to continue to grow in love. This is our season. This is our winning season. Ooh. We just have to learn how to embark on it, embrace it, and make sure that we keep moving in it. Nothing grows in stagnant water. It's cesspool. Nothing grows in it. So we want to thank everybody tonight that's watching.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning in.
My podcast manager has left some of all of your hashtags, every which way that you can find him. If you're looking for services, please like, love, share, and subscribe to our channels. So that way he can keep prospering. We can keep prospering. Yeah. And we're going to headline him on our business page. So that way tonight, Saquon will be putting you up on our business page to where people can, and listen, networking is everything.
Yeah. And what's so funny is I hate being out of the house. I hate leaving the house. Especially after dark. Like I just want to, when my normally my hours end when my kids step foot in the house. And in I learned last year that they don't need me as much as I thought. So it's almost as if they've allowed me to step out of my comfort zone and expand. And I just got back from LA. I just got back from Nashville. I took 2 trips in January. I just needed to go and see some things. Nashville was a photography conference, so I learned a lot. I'm like,
that is great.
Like going
inspiring through, and look, increasing your knowledge is everything.
Yep. So it's just I'm grateful for the opportunity to network with you.
I love it. My son is walking into photography. Actually, he's been shooting me the last couple of shots, and people have been loving it. Okay. And then that's the way we. He's young too. He's hungry, and introduce. Great role modeling is one of the biggest things that I'm stepping into this year, is making sure that we're matching people with their level of expertise. So tonight we have you here tonight, and we want to make sure that you know that you are loved, you are cared about. People are watching you. Keep doing great things.
Thank you.
Don't stop because you don't get a like, or you don't get a love, or you don't get a view, because you don't. Just like that lady called you out of the blue.
Yeah.
Someone else will continue to call you. And tonight I'm calling on you. I'm calling on you to be better than what you were yesterday. Calling on you to be better than what you were just 10 minutes ago.
Pressure on.
I'm pressure.
Putting the pressure on.
Put pressure. And I think my son was just talking about one of our therapists, and my son was talking about how they said they hear a woman say one more thing about pressure. I guess it's a song or something. Yeah, I'm old. So guess what? Tonight, all pressure.
Okay.
But but understand her mythology of her pressure is different from mine. My pressure is going to come with love and grace and pushing and motivating and empowering you to do great and be great. And again tonight, we just thank you so much for coming. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not taken a chance on this young man, or you haven't watched this show, or you haven't gone on his page, I'm telling you, it will inspire you. He is the next up and coming, and I'm going to make sure that we keep breathing life and motivation into him.
Thank you very much.
And as we do that, he's going to keep doing that and empowering his family and his children. These guys right here, they're our future. Older people, we need to step. Either we're going to educate or we're going to step aside, because y'all going to take over regardless.
Yeah, So I'm gonna say this one last thing.
Sure, come with it, please do.
My goal really is, like I was explaining to my son earlier, that education can be boring, and growth can be painful.
Yes.
I'm trying to alleviate all that. I want to educate and entertain, and I'm gonna find my ways to reach everybody. With just sweetening the deal. I want people to be able to laugh and learn at the same time. I want people to be able to, smile and think at the same time.
Laughter is one of the things that cure the soul.
Yeah.
When the soul is hurting, when the soul is weak,
so
laughter can do that. And I see you bringing that.
Yeah, the entertainment is going to be that Trojan horse for the education and the inspiration and all that. So
there's nothing any greater than bringing forth anything that's brought in love.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing There's nothing that you can't do that if you do it within love, it's always going to grow.
Yeah, this is my hoodie. My site is called Full-Time Love.
Full-time. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I didn't even fulltimelove.us.
This is just what I'm feeling and sensing in my spirit. So
I got the hats. I got the.
He's got the hats. I love it. He's got the hoodies. Make sure you leave that information.
Okay, I get it.
We can make sure that that he's getting his emphasis in that too. So tonight, I hope that you guys have taken some of the nuggets that he has dropped, some of the jewels. I am so annihilated just sitting here with a young man that has just brought me joy and has poured into me tonight. I thought I was going to come and pour into him, and he's poured into me. So together, we've worked something out here. Yeah. Again, we love him. We want to encourage you. And again, just thank you for being on Know Your Purpose.
No, thank you.
And like I said, he came out of his comfort zone. And I'm not going to say just for me. I think it was just to inspire all of you as well. So if you have not taken the opportunity to go on to Know Your Purpose, please go on to Know Your Purpose and like our page and keep following us. We're going to keep bringing great entrepreneurs and great things your way. If you haven't gone on the Business Suites of Brass Mill, please go on to the Business Suites of Brass Mill's Facebook page and website, like and love and subscribe. And last and not but least, I want to thank my son who runs our podcast studio, who runs our social media. It's hard to work for your mother. If you think it's hard to work for a corporate, work for your mother is 10 times worse. But we have literally learned to love and grow with each other. So if you can also go onto our podcast, like and love. If you're looking to podcast, please come our way. We have plenty. Nice we have. Thank you so much.
Yeah, they got a nice spot.
Thank you so much. We have plenty of openings. So if you're thinking about starting a blog, you think about podcasting, you think about doing any of those things social media wise, look us up. We are here at the 1200 Brass Mill Road, Suite A, D, E. We have all those suites with us. Yes, all those letters with us. That is our campus. It is at, like I said, 1200 Brass Mill Road in Belcamp, Maryland, 21017. The number that we can be reached at is 410-297-9300 for any of your business needs, any of your podcasting needs, any of your social media needs. We are here to do just that. I want to thank you guys tonight, and I will see you next Friday. Thank you so much again, my friend. I appreciate you. All right. Good night, my friends. Peace out. This was a